Race well underway. Last night, Donald Trump drew an estimated 30,000 people to a rally in a football stadium in Mobile, Alabama.
I'd like to have the election tomorrow. I don't want to wait. A woman came up to me. She said, I'm not sure that you're nice enough to be president. I said, you know what? This is not going to be an election based on a nice person. It's going to be based on a competent person. We're tired of the nice people. They said, Trump loses NASCAR. It was all over the world. A friend of mine called, because I opened with a strong statement, meaning illegal immigration. We got to solve the problem. So all over, one day it was NASCAR. Trump loses NASCAR. I said, I don't have a deal with NASCAR. It turned out that I lost NASCAR. You know what they did? They rented a ballroom at Trump Doral. Can you believe it? They had a ballroom. And by the way, I kept their deposit and rented it to somebody else.
Look at the size of that crowd, 30,000 people. Governor Chris Christie and Bobby Jindal will be in Iowa today. I wonder if they'll have similar-sized crowds at the soapbox speeches they're giving today at the Iowa State Fair.
Well, he's just so animated. He has a real knack for rallying crowds. Before he made his way into the stadium, which, by the way, initially this rally was supposed to be at a convention center, a hotel and convention center and a civic center, and then they had to move to this stadium here. But he has such a way of getting everybody riled up. He was in his Trump plane doing laps around to get everybody fired up.
What are they riled up against? The establishment. Take a look at how the establishment is covering this. This is the lead on Politico, which is a left-wing site posing as a nonpartisan one. This is their lead story about Trump's speech last night. Quote, Donald Trump, Alabama, and the ghost of George Wallace. The lead of this story, written by some kid called Ben Schreckinger, basically calls Trump a racist, comparing him to the segregationist governor of Alabama, George Wallace. No evidence at all for this at all, but it's dismissing him as a racist demagogue. No wonder people are for Trump. They may not love Trump's ideas, but they despise this kind of nonsense.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, if you listen to his speech last night, he hit on everything. And first he started talking about the art of the deal in that book, and he's signing copies for people. And then he says, but my favorite book is the Bible. So he's appealing to his base, especially here in the primary. He starts talking about ISIS and how our generals and our president are not acting tough enough and that General Patton would be spinning in his grave. He talks about bringing jobs back to the United States. I mean, he hits on all these hot button topics. It's not just immigration and the controversy surrounding that he's known for.
And he also talked about immigration last night in Alabama, by the way. Here's some viewer comments and getting some of that sentiment. Robert on Facebook says, no teleprompters. Mr. Trump doesn't need teleprompters because he's speaking from the heart. Mr. Trump loves America.
And Barbara on Facebook says, when he stated that we would take care of our vets, we owe them more than we can ever repay.
Don writes, I'm going to be the greatest jobs president ever. Quoting Trump, this is what America needs right now. We need someone who knows how to fix the economy. And in other words, the people running everything have failed. That's the consensus among people who like Donald Trump.
Right. And all the naysayers in Washington who say that he can't win in Iowa, New Hampshire, some of the early voting states, and that he draws a crowd of 30,000 people in Alabama.
I got to say, I don't agree with everything Trump says, that's for sure. But when I see coverage like this, I think the people who are attacking him are so dishonest, some of them, that it makes me more sympathetic to Trump. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
Interesting. Let us know what you think this morning. FF Weekend. Go to our Facebook page. You can weigh in on that comment thread about Trump's speech last night.